when I found out Dick had cancer, I felt like I was actually more afraid than he was. And not that he wasn't afraid.
A couple of days after I told Corey about me having cancer, he asked me to go to lunch with him. And during lunch, he explained that he had written a song. And at the end of our lunch, we were sitting in his car, and he played the song for me. And it was very emotional for me. I cried. And it was difficult to hear that song after that. I was really quite taken with his reaction to my illness and how he was actually more emotional about it than I was. It really affected him deeply.
I asked him to explain the song to me, and he explained how he was sitting at home one day feeling sick and sorry for himself, and that by that time tomorrow, he'll be fine. He'll be over the cold or flu or whatever he had, but Dick is still going to have cancer.
The original version of the song isn't obviously what people hear today, and there's two things that actually were really dramatically different. And the first thing was the Why Me, Why Now section of the song wasn't actually there. The section was there, but the vocals weren't there, so it was just the heavy music. And it wasn't Why Me, Why Now, Why Me, Why Now. That wasn't there. And also the song ended with that same bridge. So the song ended very heavy as well, because when I wrote the song, I didn't know what the outcome of Dick was going to be. Later on, what I ended up doing, we finished the song and we got Why Me, Why Now, because it didn't feel like it was complete, because I wanted that to really drive home the frustration and the anger that one has the night they find out they have cancer. And it naturally came to Why Me, Why Now, because I think everyone questions that, you know. And then also at the very end, well, Dick won the battle. 93 days later, he won the battle.
Working with Corey, producing this song, he was building up his studio in his basement, but we knew that if this was going to be on a CD, or if it was going to be put to film and somehow incorporated into maybe a compilation CD, the quality was going to have to be impeccable. So I talked to a very good friend of mine at Smart Studios in Madison, Mike Zirkle, engineering master and a Pro Tools wizard. We took all the information over to him. He's used to mixing down national acts, and we brought him this small multi-track setup, and he treated it as if it was a national act, that it was going to be in a feature film. Spent countless hours mixing down each individual track, mixing down each individual vocal line, making everything sound perfect, which he's known for.
Shining and bright, I think of my wife. On this time tomorrow, I don't know what's mine.
When Corey told me that he wanted to make a music video out of the song and that he would need to come up with a person to play the part of me, I had mixed feelings about that. I personally was not at all interested in being in anything or part of show business or being on a screen. But I knew how passionate he was about the project, and that I imagined someone else playing the role And I just couldn't imagine how they could hit the mark and give Corey what he needed to make this project the best it could be.
My whole goal with this entire project was what seems simple but is very challenging, and that is when people say or find out they have cancer, the first thing that comes to your mind is death. Or when is he gonna die? When is she gonna leave us? When Dick told me that it was positive for non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, my first thought was, when are you dying? When are you leaving?
When we first thought of the idea for the video, I knew we could do it and do it very well. Even though we had no experience about actually making a video, but when we started going at it and getting the people to help out with the video, I was amazed that when we asked for help, how many people just willingly just came down and helped us.
When Corey first started talking about this project, I had my doubts. I mean, I know he has recorded songs in the past, but to put together a video, it just seemed like a monster project. When we were doing the hill scene, saw some of the raw footage and thought, oh, well, that's a good shot. Well, that's a good shot. But had no idea how it would all be put together and what the final project would look like in the end.
We had to spend 7 days prior to the beginning of the shooting practicing with this camera, working with the Steadicam floating camera apparatus, things that we've never touched before in our lives. We worked in his backyard, walking next to each other with the camera, taking some of my lighting that we use for stage lighting and trying to incorporate it into film lighting, which is a totally different animal. We went out and tried some shots from a vehicle and walking next to the vehicle and behind the vehicle and attempting to learn how this camera is going to react when we start moving it, because we had such a short window of time to learn it and even shorter window of time to actually shoot it.
When Corey first came to me and said that he was going to do a music video along with this song, and I had already heard the demo with the vocals that he had produced in his home studio, I was looking at the storyboard and the different locations and different shooting and whatnot, and thought, wow, how are you going to pull people together to do this, and what kind of time frame are you talking about?
We went up on the website and looked at this hill, and the shot of this hill was actually in like an airplane looking straight down, so you couldn't tell what it was. It looked like just a flat grass plain. And so what we did a couple days later, Janice and I and Hope, when she was really little, and we drove out to Horicon and went out to this hill, and immediately we knew this was it. It was the perfect hill. A lot of sunrises, and I knew that there was a certain amount of time you had to actually get the perfect light. And in this instance, it was between 15 to 17 minutes we had to film this and get all our scenes done.
We set up in a matter of about 20 minutes with a generator and laptop and all the lights. We were really winging it that morning. We were pretty much walking on marbles for the most part. I don't think anybody really knew what to expect. And we weren't all terribly happy with it, but after all the prep work for that first day, we came away with some okay footage from what we thought then, and as of now, a lot of that footage was actually used.
My experience with the hill scene was I really didn't think we were going to pull it off. I laid in that tent in the middle of the night wondering how much real time do we actually have to accomplish what needs to be accomplished, and I thought we would need 3 to 6 days of early morning to pull off what needed to happen. And I I am amazed we did what we did in the short amount of time we had to do it.